In Lesson 11, we learned a new, more advanced finger picking pattern, and we explored how to apply it to songs using My Blue Heaven as an example. In this lesson, we're going to move on to the next key signature in the circle of fifths, the key of D major. We started with the key of C major, which has no sharps or flats, and then we moved up a fifth. Remember, C, D, E, F, G. We went up 5 notes to the key of G. The key of G major has 1 sharp, F sharp, and now we're going to go up 5 notes from the key of G, G, A, B, C, D, up a fifth to the key of D major. The key of D major has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Once again, don't worry if you're not fully understanding the music theory aspect of these lessons. I'm directing it to people who have experience playing other instruments in the past. You don't need to understand music theory to play the ukulele. I always recommend learning it so you can become a more advanced musician, a better musical communicator, and just a better musician in general. The key of D major is closely related to G major. Like I was saying earlier, there's only one different note. In the key of G major, C was natural, which means not sharp or flat. In the key of D major, the C will become sharp, along with the F sharp. In today's lesson, we're going to focus on the chords and chord progressions common in the key of D major. Because most of the notes overlap, there will be overlap with the chords as well. In the next lesson, we'll move on to the scale itself and melodic material derived from it, including a song. The most common chords used in the key of D major are D major, of course, which would be the 1 chord, in other words, the first note of the scale, or the do, or your tonal center. We'll also be using the G chord, which we already know. Along with the G chord, we're going to add a G major 7 just for fun. G is the 4 chord in the scale, for those of you following along with the music theory. D, E, F, G. That's the 4 chord. We will also learn the chord A, as well as A7, or A dominant 7. The A major and A7 are the 5th chord in the D major scale. D, E, F, G, A, the 5 chord. First, let's review the D chord for a minute. The D chord has 3 fingers on 3 different strings, all on fret 2 of string 4, fret 2 of string 3, and fret 2 of string 2. String 1 is open. Let's try that together. I'm sure you know it already. I'll count to 4. 1, 2, 3, D chord. Very good. You can also try to play the D major chord with 1 finger flat across all the strings like this. That's called a bar chord. Don't worry if you can't do that. We have 2 entire lessons later on down the road based entirely on bar chords and bar chord progressions, like D major. Let's review the G chord for a second and play that together. I'm sure you know it. The G chord also has 3 fingers on 3 different strings. The index finger is on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, the 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and the middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. We're going to strum all 4 strings. Let's play that together. A nice, clean G chord. 1, 2, 3, G. Is it sounding better than before? And just to jazz things up a bit, we can learn the G major 7 chord. For those of you following along with the music theory, the G major 7 chord adds a 4th note to the G major chord. Physically, it's very similar to the D major chord. We're going to play fret 2 on 3 different strings, just like the D major. The only difference is that we're using a different group of strings this time. The D major chord involved fret 2 on string 4, 3, and 2. This time, for the G major 7, we're going to move that over to string 3, 2, and 1. So you have fret 2 on string 3, fret 2 on string 1, and fret 2 on string 2. Once you have your fingers situated on the fretboard, you'll strum all 4 strings for a G major 7. Got it? Try that with me. Check your fingers. Curved, Pressing hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, G major 7. If you do want to try getting started with bar chords, this would be a really good place to do it. Try placing your index finger flat across 3 strings on fret 2. String 1, 2, and 3. Leave string 4 open, press really hard, and strum all 4. G major 7 bar chord. Now that we've covered the 1 chord and the 4 chord in the key of D major, let's move along to the 5 chord, or the 5th chord in the scale. A major, or A dominant 7, A7. Also, for those of you following along with the theory again, the A major is a 3-note chord and A dominant 7 is a 4-note chord. A, C sharp, and E make up an A major chord, and if you add a G to those 3 notes, you'll have a dominant 7 sound. Let's explore both of those. To get to the A major chord, you may want to start with an A minor, which involves placing your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. From there, add your index finger to the 1st fret of the 3rd string, press hard, make sure your fingers are nice and curved, and play all 4 strings. Let's try that together. 1, 2, 3, A. That's A major, and again, if I remove my index finger, that's the previous chord that we already knew, A minor, minor, major. Take a minute to absorb the different sounds of the chords. Major is a little bit brighter and maybe happier, and minor is a little bit darker. Major, minor. Don't worry if your chords don't sound perfect now. Keep that in the back of your mind and know that that's what you're working towards. Enjoy the process. We all move at different speeds, and that's okay. I said it before, and I'll say it again. The journey is the destination. The process is the goal. You will get right where you need to get to when you need to get there. Now that we've got our fingers in place, let's play the A major chord together and make sure we're listening so we really take in the sound of it. Here we go together. A major. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again, A minor. What a difference one note makes, right? In the previous lesson, we learned how to play an A7 chord with 1 finger, the index finger, on the 1st fret of the 3rd string like this. For this lesson, I'd like to give you a new version of A7. Put your middle finger on fret 2 of the 4th string like an A minor. Add your index finger to the 1st fret of the 3rd string to make an A major, and then add either your pinky or your ring finger, your 3rd finger, to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Curve your fingers, press hard. Here's another A7. Now we have 2 different A7 chords. 1 finger and 3 fingers. When we play different versions of the same chord, we refer to that as different voicings. We're playing the same notes in different orders. Are you able to hear the difference between the A minor, the A major, and the 2 different A7s? Don't worry if you can't quite hear it yet. Your fingers will get stronger and more coordinated as you practice, and your ear will also improve the more you practice. Now that we've got the chords in D major under our belt, let's try a chord progression. We'll start with a D chord for 4 counts. Then we'll move on to an A major chord, or an A7 if you'd like, for 4 counts. After the A chord, we'll play a G chord, or a G major 7 for 4 counts. And then we'll move back to the A chord or the A7 for 4 counts. We'll repeat this 3 times. First chord is D. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then A, and then G, back to A, and we'll repeat. D chord, A, G, back to A. All right, let's do it again. This time, we're going to do A7 instead of A. Here we go. A7, one finger. G. I'm going to do the three-finger A7. And then repeat it again. D. A7. What about G major 7? And then back to A, D, A7, G major 7, back to A7, and end on a D. Here we go. How'd you do? Probably pretty good, but don't worry if you still need to work on it. You have to practice on your own. Let's spice that up with a fun rhythm. The rhythm we're going to try is called the Bo Diddley beat, and it's named after the famous guitarist Bo Diddley. You'll find it in your workbook. We're not doing the Bo Diddley chord progression or a Bo Diddley song. We're just using the groove. It's in the key of D. We're going to be using D major chords, G major chords, A major chords, and A7 chords. I am going to play a D major chord like this. I have my index finger barred or flat across 4 strings on fret 2, and then I'm using my pinky on fret 5 of the first string. You don't have to do that. We're going to talk more about bar chords later. You could play any D chord. You could play this D chord, you can switch your fingers, whatever works for you. I just like this one. The other thing I'm going to do with my right hand, I'm not strumming and I'm not finger picking. I'm doing more of a claw technique. I have one finger per string on the right hand. My thumb is playing the 4th string. You could put your index on the 3rd string, your middle finger on the 2nd string, and your ring finger on the 1st string. Any D chord that you could play. Try plucking all 4 strings at the same time like this. That might be tricky for you if you're a beginner. So don't feel like you have to do it. You can still do the thumb. I'm going to play it like this. Okay, here's the Bo Diddley groove in the key of D major. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, D, repeat. A, how'd you do? Were you able to keep up with me? Let's try it again a little bit slower. Maybe it'll be easier for you to keep up, and maybe you'll still have to practice. That's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, D, A, D. Awesome. Get to work on that, and I'll see you at the next lesson.